Head back to Friday night footy now, and everybody thought the Blues was going to steamroll over the Saints. The Saints snapped the losing streak, and they worked really well forward, and their pressure was really good.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Brownie. I thought they were terrific. I thought they identified a couple of areas. You see Brett Ratten there with the relief, and Max King, he kicked 3, but I thought the way that they worked out what went wrong the previous week against Sydney, where they played boring, long down the line footy, Murph, to actually change some angles, get Hill and Sinclair involved and give their forwards quicker ball use and an opportunity to impact inside 50, memory kick 4.
They did, and Sinclair and Hill that you spoke about were just electric off the half-back line and really made the Carlton forwards have to be accountable, which they weren't at the start, and it started a lot of St Kilda's offence. But I reckon the first clip of the night, I reckon Michael Voss wasn't too impressed with the hands and the flickiness at the start. You just tell that St Kilda's pressure was right up, and their pressure was fantastic throughout the whole night.
I love what Brett Ratten did. He changed everything up. So everything's been going through Max King. Everybody's talking about we're going to King too much. He's double-teamed, triple-teamed. So they started Paddy Ryder forward and Max King to play a selfless role. But then they had so many one-on-ones forward. Let's have a look at some of that forward analysis. And this is the first one. Paddy Ryder up in the ruck at the moment. They get the ball forward. And just have a look at the positioning of Max King. Have a look where he is. Way out there, giving Rowan Marshall space. All of a sudden, there's no third man up. This is the second one. So they go through the middle of the ground. Hill did this all night again. King out here giving Ryder an opportunity. Doesn't take the mark, doesn't kick a goal in this one, but you can see the pattern. All of a sudden they switch play. Now they go forward. Have a look at this setup. You've got King out the back, you've got Ryder, and you've got Tim Membry coming up with the football. How important is Paddy Ryder to this football side? Then you can take that mark. There is no third man up. Now King, selfless game, gets up the ground. Nothing becomes of this, but still Paddy Ryder's getting a one-on-one out the back if the kick is good to him. So Brett Ratten set this up beautifully. This is a long kick in. I want to show you those 3 players. Normally they'd have 4, 5 going up. King one-on-one, Ryder one-on-one, and Marshall one-on-one. Should have taken that mark. Didn't take the mark, but you can see the setup. And again, King notices that this is Butler's man here. He just takes him out, takes him way out, says, OK, this is probably not mine. I'm going to go wide because Butler's got all this space. You see King's man going towards him here. King played a selfless role. Brett Ratten set it up, and Paddy Ryder was brilliant.
And Brady, on top of all of that, with the science involved, there was genuine courage on full display, particularly late. Dougal Howard, before half-time, had this happen to his knee, and you could see that he was in genuine trouble, but didn't want to come off the ground, resumed after the break, and then that happened innocuously again. So there's a meniscus problem of sorts there, Kane, and you'd think he'd miss some weeks. But the courage shown by Rowan Marshall, again, to go for the mark, obviously the whiplash action, he was taken out of the equation for 15 minutes, came back onto the ground once he passed that concussion test, and then this was just incredibly brave from these 2 players who went at it without thinking in terms of Hunter Clark, who's now had a compressed fracture of the nose, Lordo, and will miss some weeks as a result of surgery performed yesterday, and Dan Butler should be OK to go.
Unlucky Hunter Clark just got him back for a couple of weeks and now he's out.
He's an elite kick too. Yeah. So Jacob Wiedering comes back next week. They play against West Coast. Carlton haven't got too much to worry about. I mean, you can have a bad game. We've seen Melbourne have multiple bad games. Fremantle. But, Kane, do they have anything to worry about from your point of view?
Well, I think it's just managing the expectation. Last week after the Fremantle win, it was, well, Carlton can win the flag, and a lot of prominent people were saying that. So it's dealing with that, and it's also when teams come and match them at the contest and on ball, then what's their next sort of trick that they've got? That's the turnover from Chera there. He needs to lift, there's no doubt about that, Adam Chera. I mean, he came back into the side, but probably hasn't performed to the level that they would have thought.
And they were inaccurate too, weren't they? I mean, let's factor that in.
100%. Yeah. Kerno kicks 1-4, and they had a lot of opportunities in front of goal, so it could have been a different story. But managing that expectation from a team that hasn't had a lot is going to be a challenge for them, but they've been inconsistent, win-loss, win-loss. They've got to get on a roll.